And if that's the case, then alhamdulillah. But those who have listened to music, inshallah will get the strength to stop listening. Those who have listened to music, you know that whenever a small portion of a song you hear it, you can follow it to the song end. So for instance, if you listen to the song 10 years ago, and today you're walking down the street and a car drives by and you hear the tone of that song, in your mind you'll play the song in your mind until the song ends. This music sticks into your soul. It stays with you. There's something about music that stays with you. So when you listen to haram music that's talking about haram things, that has haram melodies or sounds, and it stays with you inside your soul, it leads you away from Allah. That's just something to think about. Again, for further reference, read that book. Definitely read that book. It's online, there's no excuses. You'll get a comprehensive view about the dangers of music. Now, about a hack or a good action, a truth. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of you have come from Islamic countries. Have left a country where Islam is prevalent, where the masajids are all over, where it's very easy to be a Muslim, and have decided for whatever reason to come to a country where Islam is a lot less, where Muslims are to a far lesser degree as they are back then. Now when we make that decision, and even if we didn't make it then, we can make it now. When we make that decision, we know that we have certain responsibilities. Not for whatever reason we came. I'm not saying it's bad to come. But if you came for education, if you came for a better job, if you came for family, whatever the reason is that you came. Now you have responsibility. One of the responsibilities that you have is to help spread Islam to the people of this country. If we look at our Sunni brothers, alhamdulillah, our Sunni brothers are very active in spreading Islam. If you go to just the masajid across the street or near us, you'll see there's so many converts in these masjids. You see them on the street always. They've come to me, and a couple of times, in the small time I've been here, they come and preach to me a couple of times. Right? So they're active trying to make people learn about Islam. And I think this is something that is important. It's not something that necessarily we should learn from them, but it's something that, because Islam is attractive to people. I'm a convert, I know. I wasn't Muslim, I became Muslim. And I know that Islam is something that's very beautiful. Islam is something that if it's presented in the correct way, anybody would accept it. Islam is the best way of life. And all of you, I don't think there's any other converts in this room, so all of you are blessed to be born as Muslims. This is a blessing which you should thank Allah night and day. But it's also responsibility. We have to teach others about Islam. We have to show others that Islam is the right religion. That look, if you follow the tenets of Islam, you will be successful in this world and the next. All these social problems that you have, if you follow Islam correctly, they'll go away. Islam is the answer to all of your problems. Islam is the solution. Of course, it follows correctly. Now, the Sunnis, they have their version of Islam is different than ours. But still, the amount of, let's say, the amount of Islam that they have that's equal with us is enough to make people become Muslim. Imagine if Shias would propagate Islam, where we have the full version, the true version of Islam. Imagine what would happen. People would come to become Muslim left and right if they heard what we had to say. We just have to do it. Now, in America, there's a brother. He preaches a lot. He's one of these brothers who does a lot of dawah, propagation. And he's held seminars for people who like to be active in this regard. He said there's three main areas to concentrate on. So inshallah, this could be just suggestions, which maybe inshallah, if you brothers could get together, maybe with me, without me, think about it, talk about it, see if you want to do this. But there's three areas that he said are important to preach to. One of them are universities. Why? Because in a university, a person is leaving his home. Usually, people go to universities outside of their city. Not always, but usually. They're leaving their home for the first time. They have an opened mind. They're being taught things that they've never heard before. They're impressionable at this time. So if you present them Islam at that time, it's a good possibility that they'll accept it. A lot of people in my masjid in Los Angeles, there's a number of people who became Muslim or changed from Sunnis to Shias at that college age when they were in university. A number of people. It's a great place to work. That's one. Second one is poor areas of town. Why? Because people are downtrodden. People are impoverished. People are at their all-time lows. They're looking for something to save them. They realize that there's something out there that they need. Someone who is rich, who is drowning in wealth and money, doesn't take the time to think that he needs something or that he's missing something. But someone who is poor is always thinking, wait, this isn't it. This can't be what life's all about. There has to be some greater purpose to it. And if you show them Islam, there's a good chance they'll accept it. And for that exact same reason, prisons are also a place where a lot of people become Muslim. At least in the States, I don't know about you. But in the States, the rise of Islam in prisons is so much that newspapers have started to write about it. That the government is worrying about it because so many people are becoming Muslim in prison. So these are just areas just for food of thought, just to think about, inshallah. Now, inshallah, with the loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now tonight we want to commemorate one of the special companions of Imam Hussein, one of the greatest Shias to ever walk on this earth. One of the people whose love of the Ahlul Bayt was so much that he gave everything for them. This person is Habib ibn Mutharhir. We're going to, inshallah, tonight speak a little bit about him. Now, Habib ibn Mutharhir was a person who was very influential. But before we discuss this, most of you probably know this. He was one of the leaders of Kufa. He was one of the people who signed the letter asking Imam Hussein to come. He was one of the people who said, Imam Hussein, come to Kufa, we're ready to support you. We want you as our leader, we don't want these people. So when he saw that many of his other people folded under pressure, he didn't. He never abandoned the Ahlul Bayt. He always stayed by their side. And as I said, he was very influential. He was someone that the love that he had of the Ahlul Bayt was so strong it would seep into the hearts of those around him. Whoever he was with would be attracted to him and become lovers of the Ahlul Bayt. He brought 10 people with him to Karbala to fight with Imam Hussein. He convinced the soldiers of Bani Asad, the tribe, to help and support Imam Hussein and join him. But Umar ibn Saad prevented that from happening. So he was someone who was very special, someone who was very important. And probably because of that, the enemies wanted to kill him so bad. He was 75 years old. He was an old man. But don't let that fool you. He was strong. He was so strong that Imam Hussein alayhi salam made him the head of one of the flanks of his army. So this wasn't just a normal person. Even in his old age, he was a warrior. Even in his old age, he was someone who couldn't be reckoned with. Now there's a lot of old people, there's a lot of elderly people who were in Karbala. For instance, Anas ibn Qasim was another shaheed that we had. It was said that he was so old that the skin on his forehead and his eyebrows would fall over his eyes. And he had to he had to use a cloth and bandana to tie his skin so it didn't fall over his leg. That's how old he was. And he still, I mean, what kept these people fighting? The only thing that kept was the love that they had of Ahmed. That was it. And he loved these people, they loved Imam Ali alayhi salam so much. How could they let anything happen to his grandson? They would always stand for him. These are the companions. These are the people who we should aspire to be like. We have to pray that we could be a companion like this. Now, in order, before we mourn over Habib ibn Mutharhir, let's try to figure out who he was. Just one little small sentence. The Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Abu Abdullah alayhi salam, he wrote a letter. He said, An Hussein ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. From Hussein ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. Illa Rajjalin Faqih Habib ibn Mutharhir. To a man who's a faqih, who has a deep understanding of Islam. Not just someone who's a normal Muslim. Someone who has a very deep understanding of Islam. This, the Imam of the time, saying this about someone, that's something special. That's not ordinary. That shows that he's a very important and prominent person. Now let's go to the day of Ashura, inshallah. The day of Ashura, when people started rising up to fight. One of Habib ibn Mutharhir's closest friends, Muslim ibn Osajah, he went and he started to fight. He was also from Kufa. And he went into the battlefield, he was struck, he fell. On the ground, taking his last breath, his master, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, comes to his side, and Habib ibn Mutharhir comes to his side. His master, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, says, Rahimukallah ya Muslim. May Allah have mercy on you, O Muslim. Inshallah, all of us will have that blessing on our day. Then Imam Hussein alayhi salam continues. He said, it's difficult for me to bear your loss, this loss. It's difficult for me. But I want to give you tidings of paradise, glad tidings of paradise. Habib looks at him. He says, Muslim, is there anything I can do for you? It's a close friend. Is there anything I can do for you? Muslim said, yes. Usika the Hadan points to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. I invite, my will is for you to take care of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Fight in his cause until you die. Don't stand there. You have to fight. The time for Zuhr prayers came. The time for Salat al-Zuhr. Imam Hussein, he never delayed his prayer. It was time to pray. While he was getting ready to pray, one of the enemies started insulting him. He said, Hussein, you're going to pray? Your prayer is not accepted. Who are you? Who is this person? Habib couldn't take it anymore. That was it. Habib stood up, 75 years old, got on a horse, rushed the enemy into their ranks, fighting bravely. But there was just too many people. They surrounded him. One of them hit him from the back. One of them hit him from the front. He couldn't stay on the horse. As he was falling off the horse, a person took a sword, was able to strike his head and severed his head from his body. He died before he hit the ground. Imam Hussein ran to his side. He said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Oh Habib, how great of a person you were. Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah. Assalamu alayka ya ibn Rasulullah. Assalamu alayka ya ibn Fatima Zahra. Assalamu alayka ya ibn Ali al-Murtada. After the battle was over, the enemies they had a competition who could take the head of Habib and take it to Kufa to get a reward from Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. And the person who won the competition took the head, ran off, raced over there, raced to Kufa. When he's waiting outside the court of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, he sees a young boy there. Thinking, who's this kid? It's dangerous. The streets of Kufa all alone. He asked him, who are you, young boy? What are you doing here? Why are you following me? Why are you looking at this head so much? Why are you crying? The boy says, Ana Qasim ibn Habib ibn Mutharhir. I'm Qasim, the son of Habib ibn Mutharhir. This is my father. I've come to claim his head so I can bury him. Ya Allah. But brothers and sisters, one question, just one question. You see how much he was attached to the head of his father. What happened to the head of Hussein alayhi salam? What happened to the head of Ya Abdullah? They took them, they put the heads on the spears, they took the women and the children chained to Sham. Ya Ali. The women were in Yazid's court, they were chained. The head of Hussein came in. Zainab saw it. Zainab, she couldn't contain herself. That was it, that was too much. She cries out, Ya Hussein, Ya Habib Rasulullah, Yabna Mecca wa Minna, Yabna Qasim Zahra, Sayyidat al-Nisa, Yabna bint Mustafa. She cries out, Oh Hussein, oh the dear one of Rasulullah, oh the son of Mecca and Minna, oh the son of Fatima Zahra, oh the son of the daughter of Mustafa. Allahumma ana qawmi zalimeen.